There we go. Let me call to order the meeting of the Technical Transportation Committee, March 23, year 2022. As usual, our first item is approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, February 16th. So, thank you, Stu. Thank you, Jeremy.
Second.
Any need to make corrections or anything of this sort? Okay, seems like we're ready to vote on the minutes. All in favor of approving the minutes as distributed, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Okay. Access permits from NDOT.
Hi.
Yes.
So there's a lot of information, and I'm going to ask Scott if he'll come forward and run through the list for us.
Okay. Scott Chandler will speak.
Good afternoon. We have a little bit more detailed information than in the past, which is good. Get this the way I can read it. I have 3 different categories: new, active, and upcoming projects, and I'll run through them in that order. I have 3 new permit applications to present. One is with the Klondike Middle School, major commercial with Tippecanoe School Corporation. Not a lot to say there. We are reviewing that and is in current process. We have a new permit with Love's Truck Stop, which is a major commercial. This is at Schuyler Avenue and I-65. We're waiting on documents to be uploaded, and then we can approve that. And we have a development with Domino's, which is a minor commercial, which is on State Road 38, and we're waiting on performance bond information before we can move forward in approval of that permit. Active permits, we have Newman Road, roundabout, that's essentially completed, needs inspection and a few minor turns before we can finalize that. We have Speedway, minor commercial permit with US 52. Work has not begun yet, but there doesn't appear to be anything that's holding that up, and it's in good shape. We have permit Anvil 38, major road approach, which is not a lot of information. It appears to be moving forward. Right-of-way portion is complete. So that permit is moving forward nicely. And the Yeager Road project, work has not yet begun, but everything is in order and moving. And then upcoming projects, we have a new Arby's on State Road 43 in the city of Battleground. Traffic analysis is being looked at currently. We have a new development in Battleground on State Road 43 at Taco Bell. Again, looking at access requirements and reviewing the details of that. And we have an auto zone on US 52 in West Lafayette. And no additional details on that location at that time. There's a lot, more than normal, that I usually bring. Does anybody have any questions on any of these?
Just a curiosity question on my part.
Yes.
Is that a new AutoZone or a relocation of the AutoZone that's already there? Like Nighthawk, I think.
That is a
So
good question.
I think I'm here to help on some questions. So I believe this is the AutoZone at 23152 in Sagamore in front of Meyer, a new location that we've had a lot of communication with MPO and locals, both city and county, about what's going on in that corner on the north side of Sagamore. And again, we've talked a lot about trying to protect some of that right-of-way along 250 for maybe a future corridor. So that's that location, that AutoZone.
Yep. It's confusing. The other AutoZone is off-system and not really US 52. That's the confusing part.
I'll add one other point. Right now, there is no activity regarding NDOT at this point moving forward. They don't need to get a permit from us. There won't be a change in access. They're not affecting drainage. So right now, that won't be an NDOT permit unless something changes and they have some impact to us there. Other questions? Did a great job, I guess, Scott.
Okay. Thank you.
Are these hard copies somewhere, or that was in our packet, was it? List, okay. Then item 3 is EPC progress report, and that will be shared starting with Tim, right?
So the first thing I kind of wanted to bring forward for an update was the 2050 MTP. So we are due for adoption of this in June, and of course it is part of our comprehensive plan. So pretty important item. Kind of the biggest recent development is that we've put together and scheduled some public open house meetings where anyone can come in and kind of give us some comments about it. We will have some display materials there to kind of perhaps guide people who come in to, let them know a little bit about some of the highlights of the plan. So those will display some of the things about the transportation projects that they might expect in the future in this community, probably some of our safety data, some stuff about the transit plans for city bus, as well as some information about sustainability and resilience, which is one of the kind of biggest new pieces of this plan that we've really put a lot more of an emphasis on, kind of trying to get some planning together for that. So we'll have some kind of display materials available for that. There will be 3 different meetings. We tried to spread them out in different geographical locations throughout the community so that different citizens could have an opportunity to attend one of those. They are all from 5 to 7 p.m., so they're all evening meetings. We are having one at the downtown branch of the public library, one at Ivy Tech, and one at the West Lafayette Wellness Center. So kind of tried to get a few different parts of the community represented with geographically where we located these. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Like I said, those will start the last week of April, and then there is one the first week of May. The West Lafayette one's the first week of May. So we're going to be doing some advertising for that to try to get the word out to the public. So we're going to be doing some physical notices as well as kind of reaching out on our social media platforms to try to spread the word about that. So I think that's the biggest update for that. Other than that, work on some of the items for the plan continues. We're still kind of trying to wrap up some things, but I think we're in a pretty good place with a lot of the stuff. We have a lot of the biggest core pieces in place. So there are a few things that we still need to sort through, but generally speaking, we have a lot of the information that we're going to need in there. Any questions?
Probably off topic, but I had occasion to go to the housing element of the comprehensive plan. And I thought that was very well done. So who gets credit for that? A lot of staff members do a lot of different things.
Certainly not me.
Okay. Well, I congratulate whoever did it. As I told the class, there's lots of good ideas for tests and homework questions. So probably they're less impressed than I am. Anything else on that part of the MTP update?
I think that should be everything for the MTP.
Okay. You're going to talk about the Thoroughfare Plan as well?
Yes, so the Thoroughfare Plan, this is something that's also kind of been going on for a while now. And we do finally have basically a final draft together. So right now it is out for comment from both our stakeholders. So that would be some of the people. We have kind of a stakeholder group that we formed through the Builders Association of Greater Lafayette through Bagel. So those folks have a chance to give us some comments on it. We've kind of been working with them on a few issues, as well as we did send it out to our staff internally for internal staff comment today. So that, one thing that's a little bit tricky about that is because of the MTP that has a much more hard deadline, that's going to probably push the Thoroughfare Plan's adoption back a little bit, I think, just realistically to make sure that we are hitting, our deadlines for the MTP and working through all that. That will probably push the Thoroughfare Plan to not actually being adopted until after the MTP is adopted. But right now it does look on track to be adopted this summer after the MTP. So that's kind of where that's at, and we'll kind of be getting into the public meeting, public outreach comment cycle for that after we finish the MTP public outreach stuff.
Right. Questions or comments on that? Okay, thank you. Next is the federal funding obligation. Doug's going to explain that to me and everybody.
Make sure I turn that on first. Good afternoon. Within your packet, you should have received the one-page status report regarding our federal funds. A little bit of new information that you will see in it is that we have added the additional funds from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Whether we call it that or we call it the bill is still up in question and debatable. So for right now, we're just going to call it the IIJA funds. So we are currently on track to obligate all of our fiscal year 2022 federal funds. As a matter of fact, we have processed the FEMA's request for the Morehouse Road right-of-way, which included the balance of our 22 STBG and TA funds. That does not show up here on this report, but it will next month. And that was done on February 23rd of 2022. So the only federal funds regarding our 2022 is the Sagamore Parkway Trail project, which is still on the April bid letting. So we got our fingers crossed, and hopefully that goes well and bids come in favorably for that project. Now regarding the Sagamore Parkway Trail project, since we did add the additional IIJA funds to it, we can now fully fund that project regarding both the construction of the project and also construction engineering, which previously without these funds, that would have been funded strictly 100% by the city of West Lafayette. So we did make that formal request for those federal funds, and we did that on March 16th. So construction engineering is now underway in terms of getting that going. And with our fingers crossed, hopefully, and we get good bids, in a few weeks, we will have successfully completed or obligated all of our federal funds for the fiscal year. And then, of course, next month, we'll give you an update on that. So everything looks good. Questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Yes, kind of a short two-page list. In the past, we've used to have 3, and that was because of the I-65 project. And since that has now been bid, let, and going on forward, that has dropped out. So to begin with, the bid letting results you can see here from the February 9th date, basically 3 different contracts. The first one's for bridge maintenance. There was one bridge, or one bid for that project, and it was awarded to Reith Riley Construction. The 3 on State Road 38, there were 2 bids submitted. The project was awarded Reith Riley Construction. You can see the completion date for that is July 1st of 2024. And for the last one, the centerline edge line rumble strips installation, 1 bid was submitted, and it was awarded to Surface Preparation Technologies. And that will be a quick contract with a completion date of May 31st of this year. Now, if we go back to the first page, of course, we still have those listed. We're on the February bid letting, but we had 2 projects on the March 9th bid letting. The small structure replacement project, there was only one bid submitted, and that was submitted by Milestone. And the good news is that the project was awarded. The bid amount was $1.727 million. The engineer's estimate was just a pinch over $1.8 million. And regarding the scour erosion project, protection project, five bids were submitted. The engineer's estimate just under $400,000. The low bid was Five Star Construction at $374,934, and it was awarded. So again, like to point out on the bid letting for next month is the Sagamore Parkway Trail. And I did confirm it specifically this morning, and it is the first project right on NDOT's bid letting. And if you are curious about seeing the construction plans, you can access it through NDOT's website. Now, the most shocking news of the day is something projects 9 and 10. Something that rarely occurs is that NDOT will be having a June bid letting. So I don't recall ever seeing it that often. It's like one of those once in a blue moon things. So, but they are having a June bid letting. And then if you look at the remaining list of projects, and even on the other page, for the most part, all of them remain at the same dates, the bid letting. The one project you see, project 26, has been moved out of the 18-month letting list, according to the information I received. So that's the information in a nutshell. Any comments or questions? Great, thank you.
Doug? Any other business? Are you a citizen?
Yes. So if you start seeing any road tubes going down around the county, beginning this week and through the next 8 weeks, NDOT is actually conducting its coverage counts. They do this every 3 years. So we'll be seeing a lot of road tubes go down in the area. Basically, they're going to count pretty much, of course, all the main roads within Tippecanoe County and a number of local roads as well. And if you're curious as to where they are, we do have a map showing those locations. I can't give you the specific time when they are going to be counted, but I can show you where they're going to be counted. So this is done every 3 years, and it's starting this week. So just an FYI.
Other business? Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
You want to do it?
I'll second.
So without objection, I will adjourn the meeting and we'll reconvene same Wednesday in April. It's on here somewhere where that is. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here. Sure.
Yeah, I know about 231 following your election. Both you guys, 231 south of Lindbergh, started on the west side of the road in the shoulder, and then over the years it has crept all the way across. Keep busy in the engineering department. The southbound to the north.
I don't know if you've met.
Oh, 231 is just side. Growing.
He's a sort of
It's gone all the way across the highway.
Oh, okay.
It started like year one in the west shoulder. It's all the way up.
take over.
Is he going to take over
You guys are aware.
for you then? Or?
No. We'll transition in because
I'm like just waiting for that pavement.
Oh, okay.
But he does
Short answer is
simply.
no. We're aware of it, other than watching yet.